Life is like the changing of the seasons. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. That is the key to success. That is the key to growth. And that is the foundation of this message today. Most people complain about the cold of winter, the heat of summer, or the unpredictability of fall. But champions, those who grow, achieve, and thrive, learn to embrace every season of life. Why? Because they understand the deeper truth. Each season brings its own opportunity. When it's spring, they plant. When it's summer, they protect. When it's fall, they reap. Every season has a purpose, and if you can master yourself within each season, you will win in every season. Success is not found in ideal circumstances. It's found in preparation, discipline, and understanding. You don't beg for a better life. You build one. You don't cry over winter. You learn to make fire. You don't pray for a miracle. You plant your seeds in spring and water them daily. So I ask you, are you mastering your seasons, or are you letting them master you? Because life won't wait. The seasons will change whether you're ready or not. But if you change, if you grow, if you act according to the rhythm of life, you will not only survive, you will thrive. You cannot change the seasons. That's not your job. They'll come whether you like it or not. Summer will blaze, winter will chill, spring will bloom, and fall will strip the trees. That's how life works. That's how nature works. And that's exactly how your journey through success and failure unfolds. The seasons of life are fixed in their motion, but what is not fixed is how you respond to them. That is where your power lies. That is where the seeds of greatness are planted, in your decision to change yourself while the world around you does what it always does. Most people spend their energy trying to fix the world, fix the economy, fix other people, fix politics, fix the weather. But what they overlook is the most powerful project they can work on themselves. The only real change that matters is personal. The only transformation that will create lasting results is internal. You don't get better by shouting at the winter winds or begging the spring rains to come early. You get better by preparing your own soul for every shift in the temperature. And when you learn to do that, the seasons no longer scare you. They empower you. That's the first rule of life. Mastery. External change is constant. Internal change is optional. But the winners, the ones who rise and build, they make that choice daily. They decide to change themselves, their habits, their philosophy, their thinking, their response. They take control of their attitude. Because the right attitude in the wrong season still produces results. While the wrong attitude in the right season destroys every possibility. If winter hits and you're caught complaining, panicking, or blaming, then you've already lost. Winter is not a punishment, it's a test. A test to see who has been preparing in the shadows. It exposes who has been working and who has been waiting. When things go cold, when the world feels against you, when it seems like there's no harvest in sight, that's not the time to cry. That's the time to lean into your preparation, to revisit your principles, to check your foundation. The tough seasons don't create your character. They reveal it. They show you what you've really learned, who you've really become, and whether the roots you planted are strong enough to outlast the frost. People often think winter is cruel, but in truth, it's generous. It gives you the opportunity to reflect, to regroup, to rebuild. When everything slows down, you can finally hear your thoughts. When the noise of the world fades, your inner voice grows louder. That's your season for study, for writing new plans, for evaluating the last harvest. Most waste their winters trying to escape the cold instead of using the time to sharpen their tools. But those who understand the rhythm of life welcome the slow season. They don't panic when results stop flowing. They know the results are never in the season. They're in the preparation. And if you've been learning and refining, you'll not only survive winter, you'll rise stronger when spring returns. Because spring always comes. Always. Just like morning follows night, spring follows winter. It may delay, but it never fails. That's the law of life. But when it comes, will you be ready? That's the question. When opportunity arrives, when the conditions are finally in your favor, when everything starts to bloom again, will you still be waiting or will you be planting? Spring is your season of decision. It doesn't last forever. It's short, it's urgent, it's precious. You don't get to plant your seeds forever. There's a narrow window. Miss it, and you'll spend summer stressed and fall empty-handed. Spring rewards the bold, not the hesitant. While others are distracted, overthinking, talking about ideas, you must be in the field, working, sowing, acting. Because your future harvest depends entirely on the work you do when no one is watching, when the conditions are just right. Opportunity doesn't shout. It whispers. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. While others are laughing and relaxing and making excuses, the wise ones are out in the early mornings, planting dreams into the soil of discipline. Not everything you plant will grow, and not everything you try will work, but that's not your job. Your job is to show up in spring with a shovel in your hand and hope in your heart. The key is urgency. When the time to act arrives, you act. You don't wait for someone to approve of your ideas. You don't ask the world for permission. You move. You trust your preparation. You trust the pain you've endured in winter has trained you for this moment. You push past fear and take action, not later. Now, because springtime doesn't stay. It moves quickly like opportunity. It doesn't care about your excuses, your fears, or your distractions. It only cares whether or not you've shown up to do the work. There are people right now who are entering the greatest season of their life, and they don't even know it because they're too distracted. Meanwhile, others with less talent, fewer resources, and more struggles are planting boldly every day. That's the difference between those who wait for the perfect moment and those who create it. Success is not a mystery. It's not magic. It's not given to the lucky. It's earned in the trenches of spring. It's earned in the discipline to show up when the world is busy watching. It's built on the understanding that time doesn't wait for the unprepared. There are no promises in the season of opportunity, just possibilities. And those possibilities become reality only for those who act with urgency. But here's the truth. None of this works if you haven't done the inner work. If you're still stuck in old habits, still living with a defeated mindset, still talking yourself out of your dreams, then no season, not even the best one, can help you. That's why the work must start with you. Change yourself, and every season becomes your ally. In the end, success doesn't belong to the clever or the lucky. It belongs to the prepared. It belongs to those who have learned to accept the seasons as they are and change themselves as they must. Life is not about avoiding the cold or waiting for perfect weather. It's about becoming the kind of person who can thrive in the storm, plant in the wind, and harvest with joy when the time is right. Because when you take full responsibility for how you show up in each season, life gives you back more than you can imagine. Not because the world changed, but because you did. When the sun finally arrives and the days grow long, many feel they've made it. But what most fail to understand is that summer is not the season of rest. It's the season of responsibility. It's the time where your crop begins to grow, where your plans start taking shape, where your dreams start looking possible, but it's also the time where danger creeps in quietly. Summer is deceptive. It looks like peace, but it demands vigilance. It may appear easy, but it's the season where your work faces the greatest threats, not from the weather, but from the weeds. And that's the hidden challenge. You're not just growing something, you're protecting something. Summer is where distractions multiply. It's when comfort starts knocking at your door. After all, you've worked hard during winter. You've planted in spring. You deserve to take it easy now, right? That's the trap. Because while you rest, the weeds grow. While you relax, pests swarm. While you assume the work is done, the real enemies creep in, not just in your field, but in your habits, your thinking, your focus. The discipline you built must now become protection. The commitment you made in spring must be guarded in summer, because everything you've worked for is now vulnerable. And what destroys most dreams isn't failure. It's neglect. In this season, you must be the farmer walking the field, not admiring the growth, but checking the soil, inspecting the leaves, removing the weeds. You must be alert. You must become the protector of your own harvest. Because success doesn't just require energy, it requires energy to preserve. You don't just achieve once and walk away. You nurture it daily. You defend it fiercely. You protect your progress from laziness, excuses, and the temptation to coast. People often overlook this season because it doesn't feel urgent. But in truth, summer is when the seeds of long-term success or ultimate failure are planted. This is where champions double down. They get up earlier, not because they're behind, but because they want to stay ahead. They guard their time, not because they're afraid, but because they know how fragile progress can be. It's easy to lose what took months or years to build, and it's rarely taken away. It's usually given away through distraction, arrogance, or complacency. The summer season in life is also when people come around. Not everyone claps when you plant seeds, but they show up when the fruits begin to grow. And here comes another danger, the opinions of others. In this season, you must protect your vision not just from external failure, but from external validation. Don't let praise dilute your discipline. Don't let applause replace the process. Just because people admire your growth doesn't mean the job is finished. Keep working. Keep learning. Keep showing up for your own life, because no one else is responsible for guarding your harvest. And this truth leads us to one of the most rewarding seasons of all, autumn. The season of reward. The time when the results arrive. When you walk into the field and see what has grown because of what you chose in the earlier seasons. It is here that you finally taste the fruit of your labor. Not because of luck, not because of timing, but because you planted in faith and protected in discipline. Autumn is when reality answers your effort. The field doesn't lie. It will never give you more than what you planted, and it will never cheat you out of what you've earned. That's the power and fairness of harvest. This is the moment of reflection. The work you did in spring, the focus you maintained in summer, all of it shows up in the harvest. It's the result season. And what it gives back is a mirror. It tells you the truth. Not the truth you hoped for, but the truth you prepared for. And that's not a reason to be afraid. It's a reason to take responsibility. If the harvest is small, it doesn't mean the land is bad. It means the planting was limited or the protection was weak. The great news is you can adjust. You can learn. You can prepare differently for the next cycle. Life always gives another season. But when the harvest is good, celebrate. Honor the journey. Remember the cold nights of winter, the back-breaking work of planting, the watchful eyes of summer. Rejoice, but don't forget how you got here. Gratitude isn't just about appreciating the reward. It's about remembering the effort. Harvest without humility leads to arrogance. But harvest with awareness leads to wisdom. One of the most powerful lessons in this season is to recognize that what you have now is the outcome of who you became across every season. The results are not random. They are echoes of your philosophy, your habits, your commitment. No one can reap without planting. No one can harvest without guarding. And no one can thrive without understanding this cycle. Even more important is what you do with your harvest. Because harvest isn't just about receiving. It's about deciding. What you do with the reward defines the next cycle of your life. Some people waste it. They celebrate too long, spend too quickly, and forget the struggle. Others invest it. They prepare for winter again. They set aside, they sow again, and they build from abundance instead of waiting to suffer lack. Because they know life won't always be spring or fall. They know winter comes again. So they prepare while it's still light. And this leads to the deepest understanding of all real success doesn't come from dominating one season. It comes from learning how to win in all of them. The people who thrive year after year aren't the ones who just get lucky in one moment. They're the ones who've learned the rhythm of life. They study the seasons. They adjust their actions. They develop patience in winter, urgency in spring, protection in summer, and gratitude in fall. They move in harmony with time. They are not victims of life cycles. They are partners with it. This is the rarest wisdom. Most people are seasonal in their energy, their discipline, and their drive. They try hard for a while, and then quit. They only act when things feel good. But those who master the seasons, who understand the deeper lessons, they become unstoppable. They don't depend on motivation. They depend on philosophy. They build habits that align with nature. They rise with the seasons, not fight them. To win in life is to know that every season has a purpose, that every difficult moment brings a lesson, that every opportunity demands action, that every success must be protected, that every reward must be stewarded, and that every single day you are becoming someone, either stronger or weaker, either wiser or more careless, either closer to your dream or further from it. The great secret is not that life gets easier, it's that you get better. When you understand the seasons of life, you stop hoping for fewer storms and start praying for stronger roots. You stop waiting for things to get better and begin working on becoming better. You realize that the seasons don't determine your destiny. You do. Through discipline, through preparation, through persistence, through gratitude. That's the mindset that builds a life of harvest. And once you internalize this, you become dangerous to doubt. You become immune to fear. Because you know no matter what season you're in, you have a plan. You have the mindset. You have the principles. And no storm, no delay, no failure can ever take that away from you. That is how you win. Not once, but again and again. In every season, with every challenge, through every change. Because now you know the seasons are not your enemy. They are your teachers. They are your tests. And when you pass them, you don't just grow crops. You grow character. You don't just build a life. You become someone worthy of the life you're building.